Okay, welcome back, everybody. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
Students see each other, they all have to be in the classroom. Some of them will talk about
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Randy Atkins. I'm the Director of Communications at the National Academy of Engineering, and I also led the study that I was the study director for the project that identified the 14 grand challenges for engineering. Daryl Pines is going to moderate this session. He's got a grand challenge because, as you can see, we have so many excited people with great ideas that and we only have an hour, that we're going to go through a rapid-fire pitch session here. But the good news is that it will be followed by lunch, and you can grab any of these people afterwards and talk to them further after lunch. So, Daryl is, he's been the Dean of Engineering at the University of Maryland College Park since 2009, and he previously led their Aerospace Engineering Department. He's also worked at DARPA, where he was awarded DoD's Distinguished Medal of Service. He's held positions at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratories, Chevron, Space Tethers, Inc., and in his spare time, Daryl's leading a national effort to develop a high school advanced placement engineering course. Most importantly, though, he's just started an NAE Grand Challenge Scholars Program, so I'm sure he's looking for some of these cool ideas. So, take it away, Daryl.
Thank you. How many out there are looking to start a new GCSP at your school? Excellent. So, deans of engineering like myself, years ago, started a session back at our deans meeting, which were called Cool Ideas. And what it was an opportunity for us as deans to share best practices to our fellow deans in all kinds of topics in undergraduate and graduate education. So today you'll get the opportunity to hear from some of the leading practitioners of the Grand Challenge Scholars Program. So we're very fortunate to have 10 outstanding persons who are going to talk about a special idea that's a cool idea, very interesting to all of us. And they each will get, as Randy mentioned, 3 minutes, and I'll hold them to that time because I know you'll have questions at the end and I don't want to use up all of our time. So without further ado, let's go to the Cool Idea session. And first up is Dr. Moody Altamimi. She's at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, and she's going to talk about partnerships with Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Please welcome Dr. Altamimi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Moody Altamimi. I'm the Director of Research Excellence at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Located in the foothills of Tennessee, ORNL is one of 17 national laboratories under the U.S. Department of Energy system and the only one to have the nation's most diverse energy research portfolio. When conducting research at ORNL, you're doing something that very few people in the world will ever have the opportunity to do. We run one of the world's most powerful multi-purpose research reactors. We operate a particle accelerator that produces the world's most intense pulse neutron beam for research. We are home to some of the largest and most advanced additive manufacturing facilities in the world. We are a major contributor to the world's vital supply of radioactive isotopes for research, industrial, and medical use. And we help design, deploy, and utilize the most powerful open scientific computers in the world. Oak Ridge National Laboratory is a unique place. It's unlike any other research institution in the world. What's cool about ORNL is that we offer several pathways for students to engage in on-site research, spending between 2 weeks to 2 years collaborating with a laboratory mentor to advance knowledge in the biological, chemical, computational, engineering, environmental, physical, and social sciences. We host over 500 students each year, partnering through a variety of programs at different career stages. At the undergraduate level, there are internships. At the graduate level, your PhD advisor can work with an ORNL mentor, enabling you to access and conduct research at the lab. There's also the Bredesen Center, where you can earn your PhD in energy science and engineering or data sciences, choosing a policy or innovation track while simultaneously collaborating with an ORNL advisor. and there are postdoctoral opportunities, including a distinguished staff fellowship. If entrepreneurship is more your speed, we have Innovation Crossroads, a 2-year program that provides almost $500,000 in funding to PhD graduates who want to launch their own company. Bottom line, when you come through the entrance gates at ORNL, you're not just coming to work, you're stepping into a research institution that is truly beyond comparison and also working on grand challenges. And I hope to see you and some of your students on campus soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Altamimi. Dad, she was exactly on time. What a great start. Next up is Dr. Emma DeRisi from the University of Rochester. She'll be talking about Writing 105 class.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Emma DeRisi. I'm a counselor at the University of Rochester, and my cool idea is to create a theme-based writing course that focuses on a grand challenge. Students at U of R from every major, not just engineering, must establish competence in writing clear, argumentative essays with substantial research at the college level through our primary writing requirement. Typically, this is done by completing Writing 105 during their first year. The engineering school at the University of Rochester is going to provide summer course development grants to the writing faculty to have them develop courses, specific courses around grand challenges. The idea is to introduce students to the challenges while they're freshmen and to have them do a substantial research project on it as their final paper. And this, it doesn't fulfill any of the competencies, but it will get the students hopefully interested in grand challenges and lead to them becoming grand challenge scholars. And these are some examples of courses that we are thinking about, or that even some of these currently exist, and the competency, or not the competencies, the challenges that they map to. So the first one is Building an Invisible Sun, which maps to providing energy from fusion. Human, All Too Human, Bioengineering and the Ethics of Manipulating the Environment, that goes to Managing the Nitrogen Cycle. Human Happiness and Virtual Reality and Cultural Politics of Video Game Narratives, those are two that map to Enhancing Virtual Reality. The Aims and Ethics of Education maps to Advancing Personalized Learning. Urban Food Justice and Agriculture maps to restoring and improving urban infrastructure. The moral responsibilities of providing access to clean water, self-explanatory. Beyond the exam room, exploring the larger context of health, that maps to advancing health informatics. And being Homo sapiens, the brain, the mind, the heart, and the full catastrophe maps to reverse engineering the brain. Thanks, I'm glad you like that one. That's my favorite too. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma. Next up is Dr. Mohammed Kenamuyi from Montgomery College. He will be talking about how community colleges can participate in the Grand Challenge Scholars Program.
Good morning. My name is, as Dr. Pines mentioned, I'm Mohammed Kenamuyi. I'm the Dean of Engineering and Computer Science at the college. The Grand Challenges program offers a unique opportunity for engineering students to frame their careers through a larger, more meaningful lens than they had thought possible. The 20th century saw engineering breakthroughs in machine power, electricity, transportation, communication, medicine, and computer. The 21st century looks forward to breakthroughs in many more areas: harnessing environmentally friendly power, capturing carbon dioxide, desalinating seawater, and countering both natural disaster and human terrorism are a few examples. How exciting it is for our GCSP scholars to directly know the significance of their work, and how important it is that the engineering profession puts forward as many GCSP scholars as possible. But there is a problem with us, the two-year schools. According to an NSF report, 47% of bachelor's degree recipients in STEM, not engineering, in STEM, start their career at two-year schools. Until now, these students had no clear pathway to become GCSP participants at the receiving colleges and universities to which they transfer. Why? We see two reasons. First, most four-year GCSP schools identify and recruit their scholars at the sophomore level or higher, at least a year before community college students graduate and transfer to their new schools at junior standing. Second, transfer students typically spend their first couple of semesters synchronizing their coursework between their two-year and four-year institution. They may need to take more required courses for their degree, which leaves them with less flexibility than their peers. As a result, nearly half of potential scholars who might participate have no good way to do so. What's the solution? Obviously, the answer is to develop a paradigm for a GCSP at community colleges. At Montgomery College in Maryland, elements of that paradigm would include providing a STEM honors program, creating a cross-disciplinary atmosphere, and preparing students who transfer to Grand Challenge's four-year institution for full engagement with the GCSP once they transfer. In other words, it's an extracurricular alignment, parallel to their curricular alignment. What are the demands and challenges? Implementing this solution will not necessarily be easy. Community colleges face two kinds of demands when they take on Grand Challenges Scholar Program. Demand of time. Two-year schools have less time than four-year partners. We have to advertise, recruit, identify participating scholar much faster. Students need to be tapped and ready to enroll around the middle of their second semester of their freshman year, well before they register for second-year classes. And then it's the demand of process. Critical to student success with GCSP is a smooth transfer process between the community college and the receiving institution. This requires two-year school to identify those four-year partners, but the process doesn't end there. We must do everything possible to integrate programs between the two institutions so that the transferring GCSP scholars are primed for success after their transfer. Again, it's that extracurricular alignment. And just really quickly, the rewards and benefits for participating community college, the opportunity to participate at the prestigious NAE program, the chance to connect with a network of GCSP institutions, and most importantly, the satisfaction of serving students in a potentially life-changing ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Next up is Dr. Amy Nakamoto. She's from Discovery Education. Oh, sorry. Next up is Dr. Stephen Liu. My apologies.
Have a click.
Who will be talking about iPodia.
Good morning. I have an idea which I think is really cool. The idea is very simple. Student diversity is not the administrative goal, but it's an education resource. As the internet makes our world so diverse, we might as well use diversity to improve our education. And if we can do so, I believe we can create a new model for GCSP competency education. So, excuse me. Okay, so we need a new model. We don't need to argue that. And we believe if you look at all the competency requirements, it requires a new paradigm which we can learn from the differences, using learner diversity as a learning resource. And we are now building a set of GCSP programs based on the iPodia model to achieve this goal. So let me show you how we actually utilize diversity. The first thing is you need to increase diversity. We use internet to interconnect 14 classrooms around the world across 5 different continents. So we have students from all over the world. This represents the most diverse group of learners. And then we use a smart algorithm which we can automatically group students in this classroom who has the most different ideas about the subject. We ask them to study the subject, they give us feedback, we automatically group people who think most differently into a cohort. Then they discussed. And then we have a process which we call learning as earning, which the more they help each other, the more others learn from them, the more they will earn. So this is really how we build this new education model. And here's the way we connect the 14 classrooms in the world. And this is a very complicated algorithm we developed, which allows students to read, to express their opinion. We put their different opinion together. We suggest them the group member and the subject to discuss, and then they share their idea online. This is the process called learning as earning. And at the end of the semester, students will earn the coins assigned by their peers based on how much they help each other. So I will just quickly show you the first such course we're developing. The subject is on the secure cyberspace. And this is a course that will use the iPodia platform interconnect classroom. It will also use the iPodia pedagogy to learn from difference. And now we have 5 universities all joined. We will start this course in spring semester 2019. So here's my concluding remarks. The GCSP program needs a new education model. iPodia, which creates a classroom without border, can provide such model because we use connected classroom to increase diversity. We pair students with the maximum diversity to do peer learning, and we have a process to encourage them to learn from diversity. So as the internet makes our world more diverse, we must learn how to utilize diversity as a resource in education. And we invite you to join this GCSP iPodia course to learn how to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Louie. Next up is Dr. Amy Nakamoto. She's from Discovery Education, and she'll talk about tying K-12 to the GSSP to industry.
I'm not a doctor, but I will take it.
Sorry.
So I'm Amy Nakamoto. I'm Vice President for Partnerships at Discovery Education. I am not currently out of college, but I did graduate from NC State University in psychology. But there are 3 things quickly to know about Discovery Education. One, our mission is to transform the K-12 learning space with digital instruction, that we think that this is an imperative for education, that no longer can our students be static, reading in sort of a standard textbook, that they need to be in an interactive, dynamic environment that better reflects the real world. So what we do in that environment is we are disrupting the textbook space with digital tech books. We've got science, math, and social studies tech books. We are reaching 60% of school districts in the country, about 30 million students, 1.3 million educators. Oh, it's on. It's not working though. Can you hear me though? Yeah. Okay, great. That's actually even better because then I can put down some of these devices. Hold on. 2, we are bullish on what we call the 4 C's: critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. That we believe that these are the foundation for STEM and all learning that is required for students to go not only in the K-12 space, but obviously also in the collegiate, post-secondary, doctoral, and then in the workforce space. That everything that we do as a digital instruction provider has the 4 C's built as a foundation. And 3, we were born out of the Discovery Communications Network, so the Discovery Channel, which was born out of the idea that media can do much more than entertain. It can educate and inspire. So we are a multimedia, multimodal education company. That's who we are. It's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. Earlier this year, we launched something called STEM Connect, which is a new service for K-8 that is essentially reimagining what STEM learning looks at the K-8 space in order for more students to end up in your universities and in your companies if you're here today in the corporate sector. Essentially, we don't want to just take the best of the best. We want every student in this country to understand what the grand challenges are from the very youngest ages. So we took the 14 grand challenges for engineering, we took the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and we created this K-8 resource that is 8 themes, 32 units, that is essentially a learning journey for teachers and students to go through together over between 7 to 12 sessions per unit. So it's built off of a challenge, design, solve framework. It is the leading and the most robust curricular component in education right now that has engineering at the center of it. This is a lesson from K-1 lesson on nature. And it's the very beginnings of thinking So this is how we look at nature and connect students to the world at a K-8 level. Our bold idea is STEM Connect. Our really, really bold idea is actually taking STEM Connect colleges and industry and creating a continuum. We want to put careers in context. This is also in the service where we are shooting real-world videos, over Discovery, real-world videos of people who are doing the work of the future. Putting faces to jobs for kids who are studying biomimicry can say, okay, well here's the job that looks like. And not just the jobs that we know about, but really, really specific behind-the-scenes jobs that are kind of re-engineering what learning looks like in a K-12 space. We have an educator that we talked to last week, and he said, look, teachers don't know what they don't know, and that can't be more true in the K-12 space, so it's on us as an industry to really infuse these lessons in real time and in real world manner for K-12. So our big idea is actually to take STEM Connect, pair it with industry, the corporate sector, and core industry and collegiate partners to create a continuum of awareness, inspiration, persistence, and pathways. I'm over. But
It's excellent.
the last thing I will say is
I was giving you more time. I'm interested.
the last thing that I'll say is that we are moving urgently and boldly with this vision, but we're not going to do it alone. That too many times we see in education that people are talking in sort of echo chambers of their specific industries, and we want many folks at the table to make sure that we're building this pathway correctly to build that foundation for K-12 students nationwide.
Thank you, Amy. Next up is Dr. Daniel Robertson from the University of Idaho. He'll be speaking to us about the University of Idaho's GCSP pitch event.
Good afternoon. As you said, my name is Daniel Robertson. I'm the faculty director for the Grand Challenge Scholars Program at the University of Idaho. What I'd like to talk to you about today is the College of Engineering pitch event, which we hold every fall in conjunction with the recruitment and induction of new students into the Grand Challenge Scholars Program. And so we make funding available for the students to pursue experiences related to the 5 program components. But we don't just give them that money, we make them work for it. We make them pitch for it like they'd have to do in a real corporate environment. So they don't get any slides, they don't get any speaker notes, and they're in an open reception, very similar to what we see out here in the main hall during our open receptions here at a conference. And the students have to go through that open reception, they have to work the room. They have to identify the judges that are in the room, and they have to go up to them and pitch their proposal to them, and pitch to get funding to pursue their ideas. So it's not that much different than a normal business competition pitch event. But one thing that is unique about it is who we've chosen to be judges for this pitch event. So the judges come from the Idaho Academy of Engineers, which is not affiliated with the National Academy. It has a similar name. But the Idaho Academy of Engineers is a group of very prominent, successful engineers with strong ties to Idaho. And they're people that have had lifetime achievement awards. And so students are pitching to judges who have changed the world. And they're getting feedback from people who have changed the world, who have made significant engineering contributions. Other judges that we have there are donors to the Grand Challenge Scholars Program, as well as members of our advisory board for our colleges and departments. And so here you can see a picture of our Dean Larry Stoffer with Tom Mueller, who is one of the newly inducted members of the Idaho Academy of Engineers. For those of you who don't know Tom, he is one of the co-founders of SpaceX, and he's currently the head of propulsion technology for SpaceX. So he's a modern-day hero for our engineering students. And in fact, after the pitch event, a lot of our students, right, we're all running up to Tom to get pictures with him and trying to get his autograph, right? I mean, someone that they really look up to and admire. And then after the pitch event, we have a networking dinner. So members of the Idaho Academy of Engineers sit down, their families are invited, and then these students that are pitching their ideas also sit down with these Academy members and their family to learn a little bit more about their story and to begin to establish mentoring relationships. So one thing that's unique that we do is we take these Academy members, like I said, they've had highly successful careers and they're ready to give back to the students, not only monetarily, but of their time. And so we align our students with members of the Idaho Academy of Engineers so that they can begin to mentor those students. The feedback we've had so far has been great. The students get super excited about this event every year. I get very excited about this event every year because I get to meet all these amazing people who have done things to change our world. And we get a lot of good feedback from our academy members and our college advisory board because they're really looking to become more involved with the students. They don't just want to help fund the program, they actually want to take part and be part of the program. So this is one way that we try to bring them in and integrate them with the students and really show them what the program's all about. So that's our cool idea from the University of Idaho. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you, Daniel. Next up is Dr. Amy Trowbridge from Arizona State University, and she'll be talking about their partnership with the University of New South Wales.
Hello. So as you mentioned, I'm Amy Trowbridge. I'm the faculty director of our Grand Challenge Scholars Program at Arizona State University, or ASU. So what I'm here to talk about today is actually a collaboration that we have that is an international joint Grand Challenge Scholars Program course focused on the Grand Challenges with the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. So this course was actually made possible by the PLUS Alliance, which is an alliance between the University of New South Wales, Arizona State University, and King's College in London. And they basically formed this alliance to, as an educational and research partnership to solve global challenges together, to collaborate and solve global challenges together. So naturally, the Grand Challenges is a good fit for that. So we started this course in fall 2016. We've been offering it every semester since then. Every semester we have about 15 to 20 students from Australia and 15 to 20 students from ASU that are in a class together that has simultaneous live class sessions on both sides 2 times a week for about 10 to 12 weeks, depending on how our semester calendars align. So as I mentioned, we've been offering it every fall and spring since fall 2016. On the slide there, you can see kind of the pictures of the environment. So the classroom environment at the different institutions is different based on the resources we have available. The one on the left is University of New South Wales. Our students kind of joke sometimes because they kind of tend to change rooms. They go from one conference room to a classroom to different rooms depending on the week sometimes or depending on the semester. Ours, we have a classroom that actually is set up to be technology enabled on purpose for this type of thing. And so that's what's on the right-hand side there. They both work though. We have the video conferencing technology and it makes it possible. The course itself is focused on helping students to recognize the interdisciplinary global nature of the Grand Challenges. We introduce all of the Grand Challenges through different theme areas related to the NAE themes, sustainability, joy of living, security, and health. So we go through all the different areas. We have expert guest speakers from both University of New South Wales and ASU come in and share their work in those areas with the students. The most exciting part of the class, though, is the students get to work on global project teams. So we have a project in this course, which is similar to a project we do in an ASU-only course, but it's really exciting in this course because it brings students together on cross-institutional teams with students from the US and Australia. And so they're working across time difference, across huge distance to try to collaborate on these projects. It's a conceptual design project. It's termed the Future Solutions Project. They are challenged with identifying a grand challenge, so a real problem, any problem they want to, that's related to the grand challenges in some way. And then they are tasked with doing a needs analysis, developing a conceptual solution that could exist in the future to solve this, and then also analyzing the societal challenges and the societal impact that the solution would have. So the course really focuses on thinking about the societal part of developing societal impact and challenges, developing that systems perspective of the grand challenges. Up here is an example from one of the student projects. I wanted to show that because their work is much better than me talking about it. I won't get to describe it, hope you guys have been staring at it enough to see it. That project is an example from last spring. Their problem they identified was treatment of anxiety, so therapy for people with anxiety. Particularly young adults and teens who may not want to go get treatment for various reasons, may be hesitant to get treatment. They developed a virtual reality-based solution, or proposed a virtual reality-based solution where they could, from the comfort of their own home, people suffering from anxiety could go through therapy with simulated environments, interactions in this simulated virtual reality environment to really get the therapy they need that they may not otherwise seek out.
Thank you, Amy. No problem.
So one last quick little pitch. Arizona State University, sponsored by the Kern Family Foundation, is also, we're going to be hosting a GCSP 3-week summer entrepreneurial experience next year in June. We'll have students with flyers as you walk out of here. So definitely, if you're interested in that, up to 2 students per institution, looking to try to provide that opportunity for GCSP students to connect together.
Thank you, Amy. Next up is Dr. Amanda Williams from Oklahoma State University, and she'll be talking about engaging celebrities and sponsors in your Grand Challenge Scholars Program.
So like he said, my name is Amanda Williams, and I'm going to talk to you about engaging celebrities for visibility and funding in the Grand Challenge Scholars Program. So the first thing I want you all to think about is that we can learn from athletics. So what do I mean by that, right? So when athletics, when they need someone to fund something for them, whether that's their new stadium or whether that's someone to buy sweet tickets, they don't just reach out to athletes, do they? No, they reach out to everyone from the university. It doesn't matter what their background is. They reach out to people from the business college. They reach out from alumni from the engineering college. They reach out to people who are not even associated with your university. What their goal is to connect people's passions for sports with their particular sport. So that's the same thing that we need to do. We need to accept this notion and think about how we can utilize that ourselves. Too often we get into our silos, right? So we just think, well, we need to only focus on just engineering or just technology or whatever it may be. And we forget that we can reach out to other people, that other people are just as passionate about the things that we're passionate about, especially in the grand challenges. These are world problems that we're all trying to solve. An example for you of a celebrity who's interested in things outside of their field, take LeBron James, for example. He's an athlete, he's a basketball player. He is not a teacher. He does not have an education major. He didn't even attend a university, but he's still opening a school for students because he is passionate about student success. So there are people that we can reach out to, celebrities we can reach out to, even within our own university or even not within our university, that are passionate about helping students succeed, that are passionate about solving these grand challenges. For OSU, we were fortunate enough that our foundation was able to engage Ricky Fowler, who's a professional golfer. And they found that he was what he likes to quote, a gearhead when he was younger. He loved to tinker with things. And we were able to connect that passion of his to our priority of funding the Grand Challenge Scholars Program and creating visibility for that program. And I encourage you all to think about the same. The other thing we are focused on in the future with Ricky's influence is, connecting other donors' passions to this priority. So an example that OSU, has done in the past in making this possible is with Boone Pickens. So while he is not an athlete, he is still someone that most everyone knows and would consider a celebrity in his own right. He was able to influence other donors to give millions of dollars, not just at the athletic side, but to academics as well. And our chairs and professorships wouldn't be the same without his influence in other donors providing that funding. So this is something that we encourage all of you guys to look at doing. This is something that we're trying to do at Oklahoma State University, is we want to encourage celebrities, not just athletes, but all celebrities, to utilize their influence to not only get the name out there for the Grand Challenge Scholars Program, but also to provide funding and really encourage other donors to support our students who are pursuing their dreams and solving these grand challenges.
Thank you, Amanda. Next up is Dr. Andrew Williams from the University of Kansas, and he'll be speaking to us on empathy engineering, tiny houses for hurricane victims.
So how will you feel if a natural disaster strikes your family? We asked students to answer this question with engineering hackathons. As has been stated, I'm Andrew Williams, Associate Dean for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and an EECS faculty member at the University of Kansas School of Engineering. I direct our IHOC program, which stands for Indigenous, Hispanic, African American Women KU Engineering. Last fall, when Americans were hit by Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Maria, our IHOC students empathized and asked, what can we do to help hurricane victims using engineering? So our students made this crowdfunding video to explain how our hackathons, or iHackathons, led to designing a tiny house for hurricane victims.
Trying to play the video.
Here, I'll click it here. Oops.
Oh. It won't play.
It worked during the...
It was going to play. That's all right, we got plenty of time.
I get 30 seconds back.
You get it back.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it plays here. Oh, there it is. Just delayed.
Tiny House Project was designed for natural disaster relief. It is to provide temporary housing for families after a traumatic experience.
The Tiny House Project, a place for home. The tiny house will include a kitchen, a bathroom, a multifunctional sleeping space / living room, and a sleeping room.
The Tiny House team represents a group of passionate, aspiring engineers from various majors such as
Aerospace,
mechanical, electrical,
Architectural,
civil,
computer science and information technology,
chemical.
Thank you for watching.
Please support the Tiny House Project.
Racha, Jacob!
In teaching our students empathy through design thinking, they are motivated to create and innovate to help others who are suffering or experiencing hardships. Last year, we had 2 hackathons for hurricane victims that were supported by industry and faculty members, and the project continues today. Over spring break, our students raised money to visit a Houston charter school that had a high percentage of family members that were affected by the hurricane. Our students were able to learn firsthand about the challenges they faced physically with physical needs, but they also learned about the emotional and social trauma that these children faced. One child, for instance, had to travel 2 hours each way to school after the hurricane because their residence had been wiped out. In that situation, a tiny house that was located closer to the school could have been beneficial and lessen the trauma that that child faced. Empathizing with human needs can motivate diverse students to change the world through engineering. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Allison Wood, who is from Olin College of Engineering and has been in this program for about a decade, will talk about developing professional identities.
Hello, I am indeed Allison Wood. I am an assistant professor of environmental engineering and the current director of GCSP at Olin College of Engineering, where GCSP is largely built into the curriculum for all students, which is why we like to use this framework to describe our program. I want you to notice that on the right, we group together all the courses that many or all Olin students take that connect to GCSP. On the left, we fill in additional program elements that are GCSP specific. At the bottom, we list the 5 competencies so that we can draw connections between these and our courses and our elements. Now, in the past, many of these program elements, the things on the left here, were on the more unstructured side, things like mentorship and opportunities to interact with faculty members around GCSP ideas. Starting with an experimental offering this spring, and then in a more finalized form next fall, we are going to formalize some of these program elements with a 2-credit seminar course, introductory seminar course, and a 2-credit practicum course that will be taken alongside a major project experience. These courses will have significant reading and discussion along with reflection to provide a capstone, bookends for our GCSP students' journey, and culminating in a personal manifesto that connects individual interests and values with global challenges and opportunities. Students will also explicitly call out some additional courses that they feel have been particularly important for their GCSP journey. So as we see it, our students are having a lot of experiences that connect to the 5 competencies, and we want to provide explicit scaffolding to help them synthesize those experiences. GCSP is so much about connections among different learning experiences, across different disciplines, between the personal and the global, and we want to provide explicit support for students to engage with those connections. Drawing heavily from the liberal arts, these new courses will connect our students with new modes of thought and help them bring those new approaches to bear in synthesizing their own formal and informal educational experiences. Our goal is that these new courses will help our students to leverage their educational experiences and their participation within the Olin community to galvanize lifelong learning and community participation.
Thank you, Allison. Just letting you know, Allison was at least 15 seconds early. So, what a diversity of ideas, cool ideas from a variety of different programs around the nation. As you can see, if you're trying to start a Grand Challenge Scholarship program, you can be as creative as you like to be. It's really all up to you, your students, and how you want to create your programs. These are just exemplars of various ideas that you could turn around at your school and make them happen. So what we wanted to do is open up the floor to questions, and there are microphones that'll be at the two, that we have Randy and another gentleman in the back who's going out with the mic. So if you have a question of any one of the panelists, please identify yourself and what institution you're from, and then ask your question. So anybody raising their hands? We're a friendly bunch.
Hi, I'm Paul Barker from the College School of Mines. I had a question to, I think, Mohammed, about the community college program. How has that working with four-year colleges? And so do you have them do some of the experiences before they go to the four-year college? How does that transition look like for that program?
So thank you for the question. So we have just created the GCSP program, actually the first two-year school. Our proposal just got accepted last week by the steering committee.
Congratulations.
And we are envisioning, as I mentioned, three things to do this in three parts. Creating a so-called STEM honors course, also connecting with the non-engineering departments at the college. Actually, we have a monthly college-wide deans meeting, so our GCSP director, David Kite, is gonna come to the college-wide dean. So we have study abroad, we have international studies and so on in the humanities. He's gonna reach out to them to find the area of collaboration between the engineering and the non-engineering group. And the third piece is the kind of alignment, as I mentioned, with the four-year school. And again, not just the curricular alignment. We have a good transfer relationship with the four-year schools. Darrell Pines School, we transfer somewhere in the order of 200 students every year to Clark School of Engineering. But now we're developing an MOU for the extracurricular activities, meaning that the students who are our GCSP scholars can go seamlessly to a four-year school and build on those activities. Did I answer?
Hi, I'm Corey Cassat. I'm the Associate Dean of the School of Engineering at Quinnipiac University. A couple of the panelists mentioned conducting experiences with schools outside the United States. So if we have an existing relationship with certain universities, but they are not members of the GCSP, what would be the challenges, what would be the motivation for those institutions to work with us on such experiences?
The answer is none. I don't think there's any challenge. As long as we have willing faculty, we will be very happy to provide a platform. We'll be very happy to help them with the pedagogy. And this is something that can be done as long as we have willing faculty to do so.
So I'll add on, University of New South Wales did not have a Grand Challenge Scholarship Program when we started this collaboration. They actually, congratulations to them, just got it approved this year over the summer. And so we actually, ours, as I mentioned, was inspired by the PLUS Alliance. So it was an existing relationship that had started between three institutions. And so we just took that as saw that as an opportunity, and they did as well. Joined the faculty together, myself and Dr. Liu at UNSW, and they saw the value in creating this Grand Challenges course, and then it led to a Grand Challenge Scholars Program. As a side note, it actually inspired their Grand Challenge Scholars Program in some ways, probably not surprisingly, because they knew that our course was part of our GCSP, and the students in that first cohort of his, right afterwards, demanded the GCSP, said, we'll help develop it. They looked it up, looked at the competencies, and said, how can we put this together? So it can happen.
So just as evidence of committed faculty, the University of New South Wales faculty, Dr. An Liu, was the program manager for the iPodia program.
Yes.
So this is really the way to spread the idea. And we'll be very happy to work with any institution about the methodology, about the pedagogy. It is the pedagogy actually that counts the most. Yep. Technology to connect in the classroom, it's not that hard. But it takes a committed faculty, and as she said, I think students will love it. Once you have the experience, students will demand for that. We really need to teach our students that people who think different from us are our friends. They are not our enemies.
So Stephen and Amy, you had existing partnerships and MOUs with these partner universities before you started the collaboration?
We have a standard MOU for iPodia Alliance, right now including 14 universities and 5 continents. But we have, working with GCSP program now, we are also including the GCSP university into this. The only agreement is about whether we accept such course as a formal credit course, as well as intellectual property right are not switched. We also follow the revenue neutral principle, so we don't exchange money. Those are very simple principles. We can work it out very quickly.
So ours is part of a Plus Alliance, which is an agreement between the 3 institutions that goes beyond, throughout engineering and beyond. And so at that level, it's part of that alliance. So that alliance is joined to partner on educational and research collaborations. And so it's made possible by that. It's not, so it's part of that agreement.
Other questions? Al.
Yeah, Al Romig, Executive Officer here at the National Academy. This is a question for you, Daryl, starting. It's a corollary to the question about community colleges. What are your thoughts about being on the receiving end? I know you have a close tie to that particular campus, so
that's
first
easy.
from a Maryland perspective and from any of the other 4-year schools, your thoughts on receiving the pipeline that's being developed in community colleges.
Yeah, I think that for Mohammed and I, disclaimer, Mohammed and I have a 10-year relationship. I've been dean for 10 years. I've known him for 10 years. Montgomery College in Montgomery County of Maryland is the largest sender of transfer students to College Park. So we've had a seamless relationship between our curriculum, so there's a seamless articulation agreement that already existed before the Grand Challenge College Program. This is just adding one piece to the pie to have their students be able to seamlessly come over to College Park to be Grand Challenge Scholars at Montgomery College, and then seamlessly come over to our last 2 years of our program. So he has an MOU that he's working with us, and an MOU he's working with other partner universities. He sends his students all around the country. I don't know if you know, but Montgomery College, I'm gonna do a couple little PR things for you.
Go for it. Thank
their
you.
total enrollment this is for all the universities out there, they have 1,400 students enrolled in engineering at Montgomery College. They go everywhere. They're one of the best colleges in the United States as a 2-year institution. I have to compete with Georgia Tech because he sends his students to Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech comes up here and grabs like 30 or so students every year. So that's my competition. But anyway, they have a great program, so it's a very, very seamless interaction with us. But I think what he's trying to do with other programs, other colleges of engineering, is to have this MOU where the curriculum's articulated for the first 2 years, but also in the Grand Challenge College Program, and that they come over to your Grand Challenge College Program and you count the credit. Other questions?
I'm Sarah Brownell from Rochester Institute of Technology, and I had another question for Dr. Liu about iPodia. I was interested in how it works from the local faculty perspective, like what's the workload associated with it, how does the grading work and the credit, and how do the students get credit for what they're doing in there?
Well, the faculty load is different from a typical course because you need to coordinate multiple campuses. You also need to prepare the material for students to read beforehand. then you have to look at their feedback, and then the software will put student cohort together. So it's a lot of extra work, but this kind of work has already been put into a process by our past 8 years experience, so we will be very happy to share this experience. Now, the faculty load require a very supportive dean. That's why we have a very supportive dean here. And it is really the most difficult hurdle to make these things happen. Students love it, your dean will like it, your president will like it, faculty initially will hate it. But this is the right thing to do. This is really the right thing to do.
Other questions? Oh, I didn't see you, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Sharmila Mukhopadhyay from Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio. And I had a follow-up question on the iPodia platform. What kind of a bandwidth do you currently have? I mean, this is logistic issue of workload, but at the same time, can different universities which have their different personalized kind of grand challenges course, can they go on the iPodia platform and share that?
As long as you have regular campus network, it will work. We do not use special teleconference network. We use a standard campus network. So as long as you are on a campus network, and because USC right now we have a facility to do broadcasting and receiving, so as long as you have a receiving end, we should be able to make the connection.
That don't have what access? Was it internet access or devices?
Devices.
So it's a great question. All of the materials and all of the instructional materials that we create at Discovery Education are built on a one-to-one or a one-to-many platform. So Discovery Education's goal is not to have every kid sitting in front of a screen, but to actually move the teacher as an instructional guide from being a sage, sort of a sage on the stage. So almost every, and if not every, we're working with folks like Spectrum or Verizon or other providers to network communities, but if there's an internet connection in the classroom, then you can go through this sort of STEM learning journey as a one-to-many built in the classroom.
Hello, Ted Andreni from State University of New York College of Environmental Science and Forestry. I have a question about the pitch that was going on at Idaho. How did you prepare the students to succeed in that event? Was there some curricular content that you gave them to allow them to become comfortable and feel like they were going to be effective, or was there perhaps something afterwards that they received from someone to help them succeed the next time?
Yeah, so we actually have two pitch events. The one I talked about was the second pitch event. The first pitch event we have, the students are pitching to themselves as well as to faculty members. So, and you'll just see from the beginning of the pitch event, they're very nervous, right? And they have a tough time articulating their pitches, or they take too long. But just by the end of that event, they get much better. And then we do this every year. So year after year, it also gets better. So we do give them a little bit of instruction, but a lot of it is really, a lot about being an entrepreneur is just getting out there and doing it. And there's not always someone to tell you how to do it. And we do kind of put that on the students a little bit. We say, we know this is going to make you uncomfortable. We know that engineers don't like to stand up in front of people and pitch ideas. But that's part of what you're supposed to be learning in this program, is how to do that. And so we give them some brief instructions, like how do you give a pitch? And then we let them go do it. And we let them practice with each other, and we let them practice with faculty members before we put them in front of, these very prominent, successful engineers. And then we also have them, when they pitch the academy members, we don't necessarily tell the students who exactly they're pitching to. They learn that after the fact. And so when they sit down and they have dinner with these academy members, and new academy members are inducted in, and they hear their bios, the students, their jaw just drops, right? I was just talking to who, right? And I just said what in front of him or her. So that's kind of how we do it. Learn through experience.
Time for a few more questions.
Hi, my name is Josh Stackhouse from the Colorado School of Mines. I had a question for Dr. Altamimi. I was wondering, or hearing that the Oak Ridge National Laboratory is interested in the Grand Challenge Scholar Program is great because it kind of builds that connection. I was wondering if you're aware of any other national labs that were interested in building those connections with universities.
No, there's only one national lab, Oak Ridge National Lab. What kind of question is that? Sorry.
My understanding is that there are two national labs that are interested in the Grand Challenges program and to hosting all this talent as interns at Oak Ridge and other national labs. Believe me, it's a privilege to us as well. So.
Hello, I just, one follow-up question. This is more for the national academies than the panel maybe. Are all these things you gave, these ideas, will these be connected to the website so that we can go back and
are
refer
the
to these
charts?
later? Yeah, these
So I think all the
individual-
charts will be connected, right? Be honest?
individual. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
you'll be
good.
have every person here who's in the conference workshop will have access to all the charts.
And you'll have website connections to your different
Yes.
programs. Okay.
In the front, Randy?
Hi, I'm Ria. I'm from USC. I had two things. First of all, I took Dr. Liu's class the fall of 2017, the iPodia course, and it truly is fantastic. It was such a cool opportunity, and I got to get engaged with students all over the world, and it was the coolest thing to walk into job interviews and be like, I took an international project management course. So it truly is fantastic, so I wanted to thank you for that. And then also for Discover Education, I think you mentioned that you're looking to expand into the college space as well. So I was wondering what that model would look like.
So it's a good question. So we're not necessarily looking to expand into college with Discover Education model. I think our idea is to connect these dots. So knowing that there are Grand Challenges programs that are in existence or growing or sort of seedlings of ideas, that as we're sort of talking about Grand Challenges in the K-12 space, how do we be more intentional about those connections, whether it's if we're going to grow in LA Unified and say, like, what are the schools and what are the college programs? So what we do at Discover Education at scale is connect corporate volunteers in the classrooms, but also we can really connect college students and the Grand Challenges framework into classrooms so we can draw these very direct connections so students can see themselves in these different Grand Challenges programs. So.
Hi, my name is Padu, and I'm the I'm the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs at George Mason University. Thank you for all the cool ideas, and I just wanted to return back to that faculty buy-in. So I'm glad to see so many deans here, and yes, deans can actually tell what new initiatives can be implemented at the college, but faculty are also trained a certain way, and they want to present material the way they have been trained, and this is most faculty, as you all know. So my question to you is, how do you get the paradigm shift in the faculty? I know that the GCSP has a coaching model in terms of submitting applications. Does GCSP have for example, a virtual coaching model for faculty? But I'm talking about continuous professional development of faculty to be able to integrate these things into the classroom so that they can enhance their pedagogical practices.
Well, first you need to find some stupid faculty willing to do this. Then you need to find.
I wouldn't use that.
Then you need to find. Then you need to find smart dean who support this. Okay. Then I think things will change. Change is very hard. We have done these things for 9 years now. Change is very hard, but you will be very surprised when students start to raise their voice. When their parents start to ask for this, you'll be surprised that the momentum is there. You see, at the very beginning when I started this program, I had the same doubt. Who wanted to ask for this extra trouble? But I don't think we have choice today. We really don't have choice. If you look at how our society develops, we become so diverse. If we do not teach our students to really cope with this new world, we have no role to play. So I really think with some devoted faculty, with very supportive administration, this change will happen and should happen.
I'll second that and say that I was one of those dumb faculty members. And you'll probably find it easier to find new faculty members that are into this program. I was very excited about the program when I was interviewing for a job at the University of Idaho, and I mentioned it to the dean. And so it was actually worked into my job description, right, is that I'll be the director of this program. And so I would say one way to find that talent is to look for new hires that are interested in being in a program like this. You know, most of my career, most of my PhD work, my education was all very interdisciplinary, it was all multicultural, and so this was a natural fit for me, and I was excited about the program, and so, yeah, I took on maybe a bit off more than I can chew, but I'm okay with that. I'm excited to be part of the program.
So I would echo that, but also to add on to that in terms of your question was also asking about, are there resources available to help prepare faculty, and I'm kind of having to guess on the context there, so I'm thinking if you're wanting to do a course or if you're wanting to do some training about of how to integrate grand challenges and GCSP-like ideas into coursework or into extracurriculars. And so one thing I would talk about in terms of that is there isn't any set resource or training modules or anything like that set up for the GCSP maybe in the future. But we have a huge network. So there's a lot of people that are really excited about GCSP. And I personally wouldn't say that I'm a dumb faculty that was willing to do this. I'm super excited about it, and I'm glad. I wanted to do it. You know, I was asked to teach the course and got involved in it, and I was super excited and glad to be there. And a lot of the other faculty that I've worked with, and you guys mentioned this as well, are excited to be a part of it. And so if you find people that are passionate about it, you'll find that we talk about this at a lot of events and a lot of different workshops. And so one thing I'll mention is there's several schools that are part of the KEEN network, the Current Entrepreneurial Engineering Network. And last year I led a workshop there about using grand challenges to inspire entrepreneurially minded learning. This year again at the conference, I'll be doing something about me and another collaborator from Bucknell University and one from James Madison University. We're working together to present another session where you'll see GCSP appear again at a conference, at a workshop outside of the GCSP network, but it's all focused on helping faculty to figure out how to, in this case, it's going to be build a sustainable program. So it might be a little bit of that. So you'll see those kind of things at ASCE, at different conferences and avenues by the faculty that are involved in these GCSPs that are really passionate about it. We talk about it at lots of places, so you can try to find those kind of avenues to learn from.
I'll quickly mention that I'm actually part of a group that is on the liberal arts side, working on providing some resources for faculty who are interested in building new courses that integrate liberal arts into STEM courses through the GCSP framework. So I'm not sure if our website is stood up live yet, but there are lots of groups around doing things like this, and I'm happy to talk to you about what we're doing alongside the entrepreneurial work. And ASCE is always a great place to find people who are working on this kind of thing.
We have one more question.
One last thing. I think if you want your faculty members to be engaged in this, you've got to make it feasible for them to do it. I mean, you have to work it into their position descriptions because we don't have enough, with everything else that's on our plate, right? We don't have enough time to spend an extra 10 or 15 hours a week on this program, even though that's what we want to do, and that's what a lot of faculty members would love to do. You know, if you don't work this into their position descriptions, it can be very challenging.
Consider making it part of their internal service. For me, it is one of the things that I do as service to the college, where someone else might sit on a committee. I am the director of the GCSP.
Last question.
Okay. I'm Andrea Micangeli from Italy, from University of Rome, and we was approved in the challenge thanks to Rama and Jenna just last week. So we need the suggestions from all of you. Now, my students are thrilled to work with you. They are ready for the major project. They are now leaving to Africa in the Christmas break, and they will be 30. But I need a number of your suggestions. For example, the work of Emma and Amy, just to prepare. But most of all, they are now they are attending a course of 3 credits to start, and the internship there, it will be for 6 credits. But we need one thing, most of all. the interconnection with the local universities, because we work with the University of Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya there in East Africa, and in Central America with other universities. So the multi-connection is very important for us. And we need, from Andrew, the houses, because we are really working with people needing these houses. My students, they come and they can test past works and projects, but they are there to make new design, new project. They are interviewing the communities. They are finding out the solution there on field. So, first of all, the houses. Second, how to manage the training before. Third of all, we are at the 13th now mission, and we are ready to accept any student from all over. We already have a number of US universities coming with us, but I think that the Grand Challenge Scholar Program is really a great opportunity to share the experience and to promote and increase the efficiency of this job. Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to thank you for that final comment. It's a great way to end. We've come to the conclusion of this session. Let's thank all of our cool idea speakers, please. And I hope you really got a lot out of this panel. I'm going to turn it over to Randy, who has some logistics for lunch.